Gen X had a superpower that no generation after them will ever have. They could completely reinvent themselves, and no one would ever know. You spent your entire freshman year as a goth kid, cut your hair, burned the clothes, never speak of it again, told everyone you were going to be a professional skateboarder, didn't work out. No one's bringing it up at Thanksgiving 15 years later. Because there's no evidence, no tagged photos, no digital timeline documenting every phase you went through. Your cringy past just disappeared. And that freedom to fail and move on without it haunting you forever, that gave them a psychological advantage no one's talking about. They learned that you're not what you tried, you're what you kept doing. Here's what actually makes them different. Gen X grew up in the last era where being average was okay, not just okay expected. You're in middle school, you play basketball, you're not good, you're not making varsity, you're not getting recruited, and that's just fine. You play because it's fun. Not because you're building a highlight reel for college scouts who are tracking 12-year-olds now. Your parents aren't hiring private coaches. No one's filming your games. You're not being ranked against kids in different states. You just play. And when the season ends, you go do something else. But every generation after, they're being optimized from age 7. Millennials started feeling it. Gen Z is drowning in it. Every hobby has to become a skill. Every skill has to become a resume line. Every interest has to have a measurable outcome. Gen X got to try things just to try them, and that taught their brains something crucial. Not everything you do has to define you. Now here's the part that actually matters. Gen X graduated into the worst job market since the Depression, early 90 seconds recession. No jobs, no opportunities, everything their parents promised them gone. And here's what they did. They didn't protest. They didn't write think pieces. They just figured it out. They took jobs they were overqualified for. They moved back home. They made it work without making it a movement. You're 24. You have a degree. You're working retail. And your brain has two options. Spend years being bitter that the system failed you, or just adapt and find another way. Gen X chose the second one. Not because they're tougher, because they didn't have social media turning their struggle into an identity. They couldn't post about it. They couldn't build a community around their disappointment. So, they just moved past it. That's not resilience. That's what happens when failure doesn't have an audience. And here's where it shows up in the weirdest way. Gen X never had to curate their childhood. You're going through old family photos. They're terrible. Half of them are blurry. Your mom's haircut is insane. Your dad's wearing something that should be illegal. And no one cares. Because those photos weren't trying to be anything. They were just moments. Bad lighting, weird angles, real life. But now, every generation after Gen X has a curated version of their entire childhood. Every photo is filtered. Every memory is edited. Every moment is designed to look good later. Gen X's past is messy, and that's why they're comfortable with mess now. They never learned that life is supposed to look perfect. So why is Gen X the best generation to be born? Not because they had it easy, because they had it real. They failed without an audience. They tried things without pressure. They lived through disappointment without turning it into content. And that gave them something every generation after is desperate for. The ability to just exist, without performing, without optimizing, without needing every single thing they do to mean something. You're at a coffee shop. You see a Gen X just sitting there, not on their phone, not working on a laptop, just drinking coffee. And that's not weird to them, because they remember when that was just called living. That's the advantage. They know what it's like to do nothing and not feel guilty about it. And in a world that's obsessed with productivity and purpose and personal branding, that might be the most valuable skill there is. If this made you rethink what freedom actually means, share it, hit subscribe for more. Stay real, and I'll see you in the next one.